Hi, Kerry again with Best of Us Investors. Today I'm going to do an interview with Jacob Braun. Jacob is a author for Seeking Alpha, and he's been helping us in our guidance through our investment in Netlist, and we're invested in Netlist in big part because of a lawsuit they have against Google in a patent infringement case. And in addition to that, they were involved in a case, a suit, a licensing agreement, I think it was, lawsuit against Samsung. And they won the lawsuit, but they got zero rewards from the jury. And a lot of us thought this was a loss as far as our investment in Netlist, and the market showed us that they thought it was a loss too as the price came down. But Jacob has another interpretation of it, and I want to share that with you, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do from this point on.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Today, as I said, I've got Jacob Braun with me. Jacob has been on a couple of times, and he's been our, I guess I'm going to call you an expert, Jacob, on Netlist. He's done a lot of detailed digging into Netlist, and I'm really impressed with what you did on your December 15th article relative to the Samsung trial and the implications it might have, not only for future Samsung, but for the Google and all. It seems like it. I thought it was a loss. You kind of enlighten us, would you please?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like this article is probably my best one on Netlist because as I've written more and more on Netlist, people have come and helped consult me on the articles, which to everyone who's done that, I really appreciate that. And I feel like it's helped us get the most accurate and best piece out possible. But yeah, basically, I remember last time I was on here, I was talking about they had an upcoming court case for a breach of contract for Samsung. And so they had this case. It was a 3-day trial decided by a jury. The judge had already decided that the contract was breached, so he voided the contract. Now, the jury was deciding what was the amount of covered damages that that Netlist would get. So one key thing I write about this in the article is the covered damages. So covered damages means that in this specific lawsuit, they couldn't sue for patent infringement. They couldn't sue for other things because in the contract, it had written out what covered damages were. So basically, this lawsuit was how much money did Netlist lose by not having the supply part of the original agreement filled by Samsung, but having to go to another company or multiple companies to pay, and what was that premium they had to pay. So basically, it's how much loss of sales and extra did they pay for other memory that Samsung originally agreed to in their contract. So in the end, that part of the agreement, the lawsuit was only for $2.5 million. So it's not that big of a number.
No.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people, when they saw that number, they were very disappointed because when people talk about Netlist, they're talking about hundreds of millions and even billions. And they see 2.5 million, why does this matter? And I think that's a fair judgment if you don't really understand what you're looking at. And so needless to say, Netlist ended up not getting any of that $2.5 million because the jury decided that they hadn't really received any hardship. So that was what the jury decided. But while they lost out on this 2.5 million, they actually got a win overall. And that's what this article is about. And basically, they lost out on the damages from what they lost because of the contract. But part of that contract was a licensing agreement with Samsung. So on the Netlist technology. But with the contract voided. Now they can sue for patent infringement, and I believe they will sue for patent infringement for Samsung for the memory that was sold originally licensed, but now it's unlicensed because the contract was voided.
Okay. So let me just play that back to you. They are now going to resue them, and as I understand, they're moving the case to Delaware, where they feel they have a better audience, I guess. And so now they will be able to sue for something greater than the 2.5 million that they had sued for.
Yeah. So basically, the Delaware thing's a little tricky. So basically, Samsung, when this contract was voided, they preemptively sued Netlist in Delaware because they are trying to pick a venue that they believe is going to favor them.
Okay.
So Netlist, they have their favorite venues. If you've noticed, a lot of their cases are in West Texas, and I believe that's because they like those courts and they think they favor them. But Samsung favors, in this particular situation, the Delaware courts. Okay. So they preemptively sued them and are trying to say that the licenses should be thrown out because of invalid patents or invalid licenses. I list the specific reasons here. Basically, they say that they claim Netlist committed fraud at the re-exam process of the 912 patent. And this is basically exactly what Google is arguing in their Claim 16 hearing on January 12th. And we can talk about that later. But so Samsung chooses the court, preemptively sues. Now, Netlist is going to sue back because everyone knows Netlist is going to sue back. That's why they did a preemptive lawsuit. And they're going to sue back for patent infringement.
So, in other words, the ruling that has passed is now meaningless.
Yes.
And they're now okay, I had misunderstood that. So now Samsung is suing Netlist in Delaware, and then Netlist is suing
Samsung.
Samsung, where are they suing?
So basically, Samsung sues Netlist in Delaware. Now Samsung sues Netlist in Delaware. Now Netlist is going to countersuit Samsung in that same court case.
Okay.
Yes.
And you feel that Netlist has a strong position and they will be suing for substantially more than the 2.5 million.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be for substantially more than the 2.5 million. And really this argument, right? Samsung's using a very similar argument, if not the same argument as Google. And we feel very strongly about Google and Netlist chances versus Google. So I think Netlist is in a very good position, and they're going to earn a good amount of money from this lawsuit.
Okay. In time frame, do you see the Google, as I understand it, that the next hearing on that is in January of 2022?
Yes. So the next catalyst for the stock will be the Claim 16 hearing for Google and the Google case on January 12th, 2022. Okay. So this is kind of the big case. Google's by far their biggest lawsuit. Specifically, I write about this. So this was kind of crazy to me. So DDR4 chips, which is the technology specifically Netlist is suing about, is used in DDR4 chips. So Google in 2016, Google was estimated to have 2.5 million servers. And this is growing since, right? So this is in 2016. Now we're about in 2022. So it was estimated to have 2.5 million servers and estimated to grow at a 20 to 30% compound rate. So it's growing very quickly.
Right.
So there's a lot of chips per server. Typically, there's about 8 chips per server. So if you think about 8 times 2.5 million, that's how many chips were in servers in 2016.
Wow.
So now compound that 20 to 30%.
Each
and
year?
you can see how many chips could potentially have infringed upon technology if this case could be won. And claim 16 is basically saying, was the technology from, I believe it's November of 2020 going back years upon years infringed, or is it only going to be infringed upon going forward? So basically claim 16 is worth a lot of money because it determines on if Google's on the hook in the lawsuit. So one important thing to note, claim 16 isn't a decision on how much money, but it's a decision on how long of a time period Netlist can sue Google for.
The degree of their exposure.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. So the January hearing is relative to claim 6. How long is this going to be carry out? Or do you feel if the claim 16 is settled, there'll be a settlement?
Well, around claim 16, whatever the results are of claim 16, you're going to see a huge reaction in the stock price. So if you have a very positive result, if claim 16 rules, if the partial summary judgment rules in Netlist's favor, then you're going to see a huge explosion upward. If it rules against Netlist, you're going to see a big drop, really.
Oh, it can't drop too big, Jacob. It's only at about $5 a share now. Percentage-wise. Okay.
Yeah. So really, so you're going to see a big jump right there. Okay. There's varying opinions on once claim 16 is decided, if there's going to be a settlement, or if there's going to be or if people are going to go to the full suit. It's my understanding that if Netlist takes it out the full suit, then we should have a decision, within, about 2 years, which obviously is not ideal, but it's still coming up relatively soon. You got to remember this lawsuit's been in the works for over 10 years.
Okay. So I just want to go back to that statement. You say that we could be looking at another 2 years of in this, but you also say that if the claim 16, if that is settled somewhere in January, we're going to see a big spike, and then we just have to decide how much further we go with this. For sure.
Well, the claim 16 is being settled. The case is January 12th. It is going to be determined then. So that's for sure going to be determined then.
Okay.
And then the question is, will Netlist try to go all the way to a full lawsuit or a full suit and bring them to court, potentially go for something called treble damages, where it's triple the value?
Right.
Or will Netlist then say, well, we kind of know what you're liable for. Let's settle. And that's the real question.
Yeah. And then, as I understand it, from Google's point of view, they want to continue to use this technology into the future. And so possibly a settlement today with an agreement for royalties in the future is the best for all involved.
Yeah, for sure. So the technology, the 912 patent, is considered a seminal patent, which means it's industry changing. Okay. So it definitely makes sense that Google wants to continue using it. The question is, will people, come to agreement? Maybe some people each, give away on their side a little, or will people just try to go all the way? For the companies try to go all the way and for the final decision. That's really the real question: is what do you believe the leadership of each company is going to do? Okay,
all right. I guess I think I speak for the members of my tribe. We had a meeting Friday and didn't really discuss it too much because I don't think any of us really understood what happened. But this clarifies quite a bit as to. I think there was a general feeling, and I think the stock market showed the general feeling that Netlist lost this battle, when in fact what I hear you saying is, no, it is not. That was just round one, and it was a win, but there was no payout.
For sure. That's what exactly what I'm saying. And I would suggest, if you want more information, reading the article I wrote, because it goes in depth, linking court cases, talking about precedent and different court cases. And I consulted many people on this to really help get this as valuable and direct to the information as possible. So.
Okay. And so for those of you who don't know, Jacob writes for Seeking Alpha. And what was the title of the article?
Yeah, so it was titled Netlist, one of my favorite companies who recently dropped.
And that was on December the 15th, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
So what I would ask you to do and help Jacob out, because he's certainly helping us out, and that is, when you read the article, click follow to build Jacob's credibility and his following, because this is what he does. I'm going to talk to Jacob in the future of maybe if he's interested in posting regular videos on my YouTube channel. And I guess my feeling is the more he can put a face and a voice to his articles, the stronger his business is going to grow. So let's reach out and help Jacob as much as he's helping us. So would you be interested in that?
Yeah, for sure. I love the channel, love the tribe.
Okay, we'll talk about it in the future. Okay, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, my biggest saying is, really, if you're interested in the stock, now is the time to get in, because January 12th is the key court case. Yeah, court hearing. And really, whatever happens on January 12th, while even if it's not a ruling in Netlist's favor, Netlist will still have some potential. But if Claim 16, the Claim 16 hearing goes Netlist's way, you will see. I'm saying right now, you will see a big jump in the stock price, because that's one of the last question marks in this Google case. Is Claim 16 going to be granted? Well,
let me ask you a personal question. Will you be adding to your position prior to the January date?
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I'm adding right now on positions in only two stocks, Netlist and Cassava Sciences, both because I feel like they're undervalued for different circumstances.
Right.
And really, for Netlist, I think after January 12th, there won't be a lot of opportunities to add. So that's why I'm trying to add as much as I can.
All right. Now that's a very good point. That's a very important. But I want to our audience, you do your due diligence. This is two people's opinion, and your opinion is the important one, because it's your money that's going to go on the line. So
for sure. And this is a very binary decision. So it can go up a lot or down a lot. And that's the big thing. It can go up or down a lot.
It's a high risk situation. It's not based on profit and loss, and it's not based on market share. It's based on the decision of a court. And it's interesting that, as I say that, we've seen some very interesting court cases of late.
For sure.
So, okay, Jacob, thank you. And once again, thank you for the work you do and then sharing your opinion with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. I always enjoy it.
Okay, that was extremely enlightening for me. It opened my eyes up to maybe I'm in a stronger position than I thought I would. Jacob's of the opinion that I'm going to know that sometime around the middle of January. And even if a settlement isn't brought forward, I could get a substantial jump in the stock just by the ruling on, I think it's item number 16. So I encourage you, do your due diligence, make your decision based upon your ability to risk. I would not risk any money on this that I couldn't afford to lose, because this has nothing, as I said, to do with profits and losses and this quarter's increase in sales or anything of that nature. It's going to come down to a decision of a judge, And then probably a decision of Google and Netlist is how they're going to settle this, if in fact the January's hearing goes in our direction. So that's my my update on it. I want to do this for my tribe. This is what I believe a tribe is all about, a group of people putting their heads together, and that's exactly what this is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just sharing my information and my ability to gather other people who have information so that you can make better investment decisions. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.